What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games, and in today's video, we have a brand new 7-star raid for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and that is going to be normal Tera type RILLABOOM, which is really awesome. This is the last starter that was in the base game code, and this is going to be a fun one. And of course, guys, you like this type of content, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. Consider joining the Pan fam today by hitting that join channel member button below. So let's break it down here. So yes, we got RILLABOOM, normal Tera. Honestly, I'm happy that it's normal because I thought fire would have been really hard because I did learn Sunny Day, but honestly, normal, pretty solid for us. And once again, it is going to have the mightiest mark. It is going to have its hidden ability, which we'll go over in a moment, and it will drop vitamins. I do think it's going to drop probably proteins because RILLABOOM has a really high attack stat, so that makes the most sense. So this is going to be a fun one to farm, especially for your physical attackers, whether for raiding or for VGC. Now, something that's very important, this runs from July 28th to July 30th, so not this week. It is going to be running next week. And then the week after that is going to be from August 4th to August 6th. So next week, we will be doing a live raid for the RILLABOOM, but this week, we're just going to spend time building up our Pokemon, making sure we're ready to go, and building up the best counters possible. Now, looking at the shinies for the RILLABOOM line, this is going to be a fun one to breed for. I mean, Grookey looking solid, Thwackey looking good, but I really think RILLABOOM shiny overall looks pretty phenomenal. I'm definitely a big fan of it. So this is definitely one, if you haven't gotten a Grookey yet from Pokemon Home or you haven't bred the shiny, I actually would recommend doing it. Now, I will say this, normal Tera is going to be incredibly interesting on it because RILLABOOM does have a lot of normal type moves, but that means it only has one weakness. Its weakness is only going to be fighting. So pretty much we're going to have to come down to just using only fighting type Pokemon when we start building our counters because we want to get that stab, super effective damage, which is going to be very necessary in a raid that could have either times 30 or times 35 max HP. So RILLABOOM here has some big stats. This is a huge monkey, all right? We got to respect the monkey because 100 HP is pretty phenomenal. Really good 100 HP with 90 defense. It's hitting it on the physical side is going to be really hard, honestly, because I mean that's really bulk. That's a lot of bulk, honestly. We don't really deal with that. So maybe the special side will be a little bit better for us with that 70 SPDF and the 100 HP. But the big issue is, once again, it's normal Tera, meaning fighting type Pokemon are so much better on the physical side for the most part. They have like close combat, and the only option for the special side you really have is Focus Blast and Aura Sphere, and Focus Blast is aka Focus Miss. So I don't know if we're going to have a one-turn KO strat here, but maybe we will. I'll definitely go over that in a future video. But overall, 125 attack is crazy good. So you definitely want to bring Pokemon that don't have Paper Fin physical defense because, I mean, physical attack is going to just absolutely shred you, especially with Stab Normal and Stab Grass moves here. On top of grassy terrain is going to be a lot to deal with. I don't think it's going to have any special attacking moves. 60 is pretty pathetic, honestly. And 85 speed is pretty decent. It's not like too fast. It could definitely outspeed some of the slower supports out there in the meta for raiding. But overall, 85 is not the biggest thing to be afraid of. Now, it's going to have its hidden ability, which is going to be Grassy Surge, which just gives grassy terrain. Now, if you don't know what grassy terrain does, it's a really good ability. There's a reason why RILLABOOM is an absolute beast in the Regulation D VGC, and this ability is the main reason, personally. So, all grounded Pokemon are going to have 1/16 of their max HP recovered at the end of the turn. It also powers up the grass type moves by 50%. So RILLABOOM has stab grass type moves and is going to get an additional 50% bonus to them. This is going to be absolutely dreadful. So I would recommend not bringing any Pokemon that are going to be weak to grass, and probably even Pokemon that could potentially resist grass, because this is going to be really hard to deal with because how much damage is going to put out is going to be brutal. Another thing about this is flying type Pokemon are unaffected by the grassy terrain. So, you know, that's good. But you're not going to actually get the HP recovery. And also the moves like Earthquake, Magnitude, and Bulldoze will be reduced by 50%. Now, looking at the RILLABOOM move set, let's organize this by physical because we don't care about the special attacks it's going to have. Wood Hammer, it looks like an absolute guarantee lock. I mean, we have seen moves that have hurt the user from Raid Mons. The Decidueye had Brave Bird. So I would totally expect Wood Hammer being the strongest move that RILLABOOM can have on the grass side of things. I think Wood Hammer is going to be an absolute lock. Could have knockoff. That's another decent coverage move as well. Looking at the other level up moves, Noble Roar's entering, lowering the physical attack and special attack, but maybe not. Its signature move is drum beating, but after the Delphox raid, they're not necessarily going to have their signature moves. As we saw, it didn't have Mystical Fire, so we can't assume that Rillaboom is going to have drum beating, but it could have drum beating or Wood Hammer. I think that's a lock for the grass type slot. Now, looking at the egg moves here, strength is sort of a lock to me. I really do think strength is going to be the lock on the normal type move, or it could be something like a body slam or a facade. But the fact that this is an egg move does give it slightly a higher chance of being a move that Rillaboom uses, because they usually always have like one egg move. It also gives a lot of good support moves. I mean, like Leech Seed and Worry Seed. I do think I'll at least have one of those. And Hammer Arm could be its fighting coverage, which would be pretty solid too. But looking at the moves learned by TM, Acrobatics is the first thing that sticks out to me, right? We know it's going to have a grass type move. We know it's going to have a normal type move. But Acrobatics, one, sort of fits thematically with monkeys being like acrobatic, but also the fact that fighting type Pokemon are weak to flying, and the fact that Rillaboom is weak to fighting, and the only thing that is weak to is fighting because it's normal Tera, and it doesn't have any fairy moves or psychic moves that can deal damage. Acrobatics is the only move it has to deal with fighting type Pokemon, and most raid Pokemon don't have a item held on them. I'm not expecting Rillaboom to have an item on it. So Acrobatics will do double damage, meaning it's going to do 110 damage. That's going to be crazy. That's going to be really hard for us to deal with, even without stab or anything. That's going to be really brutal, and I do think it's going to have Acrobatics. So prepare for like a Wood Hammer, prepare for like a Strength or Body Slam, something like that. Prepare for Acrobatics. Now, we could have, a Brick Break or a Hammer Arm in that last major slot there. And then from there, it does have a lot of ground type moves. However, I'm not seeing Earthquake because Grassy Terrain has like anti-signature synergy with it, because, it's going to be doing 50% less damage. But it could have Stomping Tantrum, because Stomping Tantrum, isn't affected by that Grassy Terrain debuff. So it could have that. That's going to be another option as well. I just don't see any of these other moves. Now, one thing that I just thought about while doing this is a normal type Rillaboom. Rillaboom is the drum beating Pokemon. There is one move that fits this perfectly, and that move is going to be Boom Burst. It has a terrible special attack stat. However, a stab Boom Burst is going to do a lot. So now that we have a general idea of the damaging moves, let's look at the potential setup moves. And honestly, I'm really thinking Swords Dance or Bulk Up make the most sense to me. Don't think I'll have Sunny Day, Sleep Talk or Rest. Could have Taunt. It could have Grassy Terrain to reset up the Grassy Terrain when it goes away. I wouldn't be too surprised if it actually had that. So if I had to pick 3 of these, I'm going to pick Grassy Terrain, Swords Dance, and Bulk Up. Could do Leech Seed or Worry Seed as another one, but they usually only have a max of 2 of these moves. And a setup move is usually the turn 0 move. And I do think Bulk Up is going to be a higher option than Swords Dance, because I think Bulk Up just fits more thematically with the Rillaboom than something like Swords Dance does. But it's going to be a really hard one. I mean, off the top of my head, without doing too much research, as I was guessing before, I was like running calcs. I mean, the strongest fighting type Pokemon that we really have in the game is going to be really Koraidon. Koraidon has Orichalcum Pulse, which will give it the additional attack boost because of his ability. And then you can use Collision Course to do that stab super effective attack onto it, which does even more damage because it is a super effective attack. And you don't have to worry about the debuffs that close combat would give you. So Koraidon looks like the best Pokemon coming out of this immediately. And you also do resist the grass moves. However, of course, if it does have Acrobatics, we are going to be weak to that, and that's going to be pretty rough. We're just going to have to wait and see, but I'll definitely be making a video with the best counters that you should build for this Pokemon, so definitely check that out on the channel later. And of course, guys, if you like this type of content, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. Consider joining PanFro by hitting that join channel member button below, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out, and have a good one.